and welcome to the official, unofficial Palm Springs review. Today I'll be your host, Ben, and please be excited with me. We have some amazing people. Let's kick it off by introducing the one, the only. He's right about 25% of the time about MVP. It's our tribesman. What's up, Al?
How's it going, Ben?
Good, buddy. I went with a positive comment about you today, you know?
Okay.
It's okay. It's good to be right 25% of the time, you know?
25% of the time he's right 100% of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll
exactly.
take that one. Yeah, okay. I'm
How you
very
doing, buddy?
excited. I'm very excited for this movie. I can't wait to start talking about it.
Okay, let's get into it. So, we also have Erica. What's up, Erica?
Hi, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm so excited because I'm supposed to be at work right now, and instead I'm hanging out with you guys, which is way better than being at work. So I'm pretty happy.
And unlike Al, you're right 100% of the time.
Aw, you're a liar, but it's okay. I still love you.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the host of the Pokey Ramble podcast from twitch.tv/KamalH. It's Kamal! Woo!
Woo!
To what do I owe you this pleasure? Get it?
We
I
get
can't
a
believe-
custom pun from the K-Man himself.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm something movie related. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but all I do know is like Vitz is going to be very proud of me for being here, talking about movies, because I'm terrible. I'm terrible with movies. But no, thank you for having me.
Just
you know
a couple of hours ago, he was asking us, how did you get Camille to watch a non-anime movie?
Yeah, it's true.
I gotta thank Ben because damn, like no spoilers going into this like review kind of thing, but great recommendation, dude. Great recommendation. So thank you.
It's going to be a great episode, I feel. And, you know, you actually owe us $1 every time you say the OU. So we'll collect that at the end of the show. So thanks for that, buddy.
Oh no. Is it a New Zealand dollar? Because I can stomach that a lot more than an actual
Yeah, let's
US
just
dollar.
go for New Zealand dollar.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
just
fine.
like 20 pence. That's fine.
There you go.
All right, so let's get into it. So today we'll be reviewing Palm Springs, released 26th of January 2020. Pretty recent compared to some of the movies that we've recently reviewed. It's got a nice brisk runtime of 1 hour and 30 minutes, which I really appreciate.
Ben, can I
Yes,
just interrupt
Kamal.
you because it's gonna like bug me. If I say how much do I owe you, do I then owe you more?
Yeah, that's another $1, you know?
Shit.
There you go.
That's how we get you. We get you on the show. You're saying "oh you" a lot. That's how we make our money.
Oh god damn it! An hour 30 though. That's very decent.
It is.
Yeah, it's a great runtime. It goes by pretty quick, which I really like. So, also with a budget of $5 million and box office of 765,535, which obviously this one released during a global pandemic, and I don't think it had too many showings in actual cinemas. Obviously, the main thing was I think it was day and date digital on Amazon Prime. So obviously, very understandable that it didn't make that much money. So. Yeah, so this movie stars one Andy Samberg. We've got Kristen, and is it Milioti? How do you both?
Milioti, I think is how you say
Milioti?
it.
Let's go with Milioti. I like
think
that.
so. She was in How I
And-
Met Your Mother, and I love her so much, so I'm very
Oh,
excited.
she's great. She's also got a brand new show. I think it's coming out on HBO, or it's just come out, the first episode, which I definitely want to check out. So, no, she's great, and everything she does is so good. And J.K. Simmons, who is also just amazing in everything he does as well.
I was so surprised when he turned up.
Absolutely.
I was like, wait, what?
It was so great.
So good.
Great surprise.
Now, this is written by Andy Ciara and directed by Max Barbaco. Relatively new on the scene. They've done a couple of movies here or there. I think one of them might have actually had something to do with American Hustle, but for the most part, not a lot of huge sort of big movies that you might know. So, yeah, really cool to see this. So, let's get into the summary and then let's get into our thoughts on the episode. So, like every great movie, it opens with a goat in a desert and a guy just hard jerking it. I mean, he's going to town on himself, too. You know? Welcome to Palm Springs. That's what happens, apparently. So while stuck at a wedding in Palm Springs, Niles, Andy Samberg, meets Sarah, Kristen Milioti, is I believe how we said we were going to go with that, the maid of honor and the black sheep in the family. After Niles rescues her from a disastrous toast,
Or the
Sarah
goat.
becomes...
That goat in the family.
Ah!
Link it back.
After Niles rescues her from a disastrous toast, Sarah becomes drawn to him. The two of them seem to be hitting it off, and then during some light foreplay, Niles is hit with an arrow to the shoulder. He's chased by a madman by the name of Roy, played by the amazing J.K. Simmons. He crawls towards a glowing light in a cave, and then Sarah chases after him. Niles warns Sarah not to come in the cave, but she follows him out of concern for his safety. We learn now that they are both stuck in a time loop, destined to repeat the same day over and over again. We get the origin story of Roy, which we'll obviously go into in a bit more detail later. Then there's a montage of Niles and Sarah sort of just making the most of their situation. So this includes things like flying a plane. We get the penis tattoo scene. We've got the 80s dance routine at the bar. And my personal favourite, the wedding cake bomb disposal, which
was good.
just amazing.
With the unnecessary French accent, but I love every moment of it.
It's so good. Niles and Sarah become even closer and more intimate. We find out that Sarah slept with her sister's future husband the night before the wedding, and actually wakes up in her bed each day. After an altercation with Roy, Sarah and Niles fight. Niles then reveals that he lied to Sarah. Sarah becomes determined to break the cycle, and they eventually reconcile. For the final part of the movie, we get Sarah telling Niles that she's learned a way for the two of them to finally break the endless loop by detonating an explosion at the very moment they cross the time horizon that normally resets them back to the day's beginning. Niles has fallen in love with Sarah and initially was reluctant to obviously go along with the plan, fearing that they could end up dead or somehow eternally separated on different timelines. But ultimately he agrees to take a leap with her into the unknown. Together the two of them enter the cave. Sarah affirms her love for Niles, and obviously then the sort of screen just cuts to black. Instead of waking up in their hotel rooms, as they have for countless repeating days, Sarah and Niles are then seen lounging in a swimming pool at a house whose owners have been out of town. The owners suddenly show up, and Niles says to Sarah, I guess they come back November 10th, suggesting it's the day after the wedding, and the two, in fact, have successfully escaped the loop. The end. There's Palm Springs. Let's
What I love is like there's just
There we
like
go.
two guys, two kids. Sorry, a guy and a woman and two kids, and just like, the fuck are you doing in our pool?
Yeah.
It's like,
At no point do they also try and like rush off. They're still just chilling and
They're just
lounging in
like,
that pool.
okay. Yep.
What a great ending.
Oh,
And also
man.
not the original ending. There were actually multiple endings filmed. They actually went with a different one in the end. I think they showed friends and family and people the film and actually decided to go off a different ending for the film.
well, I think they showed one of them like afterwards, where like J.K. Simmons is like going up to Niles and been like, "Oh, your girlfriend told me how to break the loop," and I was like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So it's one of those endings where like a different Niles in a different time loop has just escaped it finally. So that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. So what do you think, K-Man?
What a film, dude! Like, first of all, like at the beginning of the show, you said it was like an hour and 30. Like, how refreshing is it that you've got a film that's just an hour and 30 and not like 2 hours 20 for once?
Always make me so happy whenever I see that.
And like, it's not just 90 minutes for the sake of being 90 minutes. It's such a tight movie where like you're going from one scene to the next scene. The kind of movie's grabbing your attention the whole way through. There wasn't like a point where I'm just looking at the clock being like, oh, when's this finishing? It's just like, you know, the movie started, next thing you know, the movie has ended. Like, it's such a tight movie, and honestly, amazing. Honestly, amazing.
Nice.
Probably one of the best films of last year.
Hell yeah, dude.
It'd probably have to be said.
Nice.
Yeah,
And what
I
did you
really
think,
enjoyed
buddy? Sorry, what
You're
did you
asking me?
think, buddy?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
I loved it. I was not expecting it to be this good because I went in thinking this is a Lonely Island film. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was not expecting this. This reminds me of like Funny People. How Funny People was a Sandler movie, but not really. It was more than that. So it kept surprising me the entire way through. Like I was not expecting where this movie ended up going. It's just fantastic. The loop within the loop thing. Like first it was just like, is this going to be like a Groundhog Day situation? And then having other people involved and so like responsible for like what little changes that happen in the loops. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, so excited because obviously I know the three of you had not known the twist to the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew
Going into
nothing
it.
about the movie.
See, I had
Yeah.
it spoiled for me. So the fact that like none of you knew anything about that. I was very careful about what I said. I was so excited that you were just going in completely fresh, because I'd imagine it'd be a very different experience. Just thinking initially, it's almost just like it's a Lonely Island movie, and it's kind of almost like a rom-com at the start, but then you get that sort of big twist, I guess, if you had no idea about it. So was that kind of out of nowhere for you? Were you sort of just not expecting that at all?
The first time loop twist was not expected, but like didn't shock me, didn't surprise me. But then bringing her into it and having that back and forth, I was definitely not expecting that. I was expecting this to be more like, this is our protagonist, and we're only going to see this like phenomenon through their eyes, as opposed to like having it be so interactive and so intricate. I feel like that really, I was not expecting. How spoiled were you? Was the premise spoiled, or did you know, like...
I heard Kind of Funny talking about it a lot on something that they were doing,
I
so
see.
I did actually have it spoiled for me. But I'd imagine not knowing that going in, it would just make the movie that much better. But
100%. I'm glad you asked us to stay blind and go in blind.
yeah, I knew this was an Elle Tribesman movie, I was like, Elle's going to love this. I was just so excited. And Erica, I can see you over there. You're ready to talk about it. Let's hear your thoughts.
I'm so excited, and I know, like, even when we were all chatting last night, it was so hard not to start getting into this movie when we were talking last night, because I just wanted to start talking about it right away, and I was like, no, I need to wait until tomorrow, because I don't want to be repeating myself tonight and then saying literally all of the same things again tomorrow, because I loved this movie, and you're right, as far as what Al said. I didn't know anything going into this movie, and I thought it was okay. It's gonna be like Pop Star, or it's gonna be like another Lonely Island thing. Great, that's fine. I love those movies; they're fantastic. But it's in Palm Springs. Yeah, you kind of just get this feel. Okay, it's gonna be like a fun and goofy movie, and I definitely wasn't expecting this. And yeah, again, you get that Groundhog Day feel from the first time loop. Okay, cool. A couple goofy things happen, especially with like, oh yeah, look at my girlfriend cheating on me in the bathroom, don't worry about that, let's go over here. And you might kind of get that feel that he's been doing this for a little bit at first, but you don't really get the feel until later, when he goes into exactly how long he's been stuck in this time loop, where he's like actually forgetting his memories and things like that. And yeah, I really love it. And then bringing her into the mix as well, like, whereas in, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, you saw he knew he was living this day over and over again, but nobody else knew that they were reliving that day over and over again. This really put a different spin on it, where, you had her knowing that everything was going on the same day, and also with Roy knowing that, everything was going day in and day out over and over and over again. So I thought it was a really cool spin. Also, the one fun fact when I was doing my research after I watched the movie, I loved this. The indie distributor Neon and the streaming service Hulu bought Palm Springs for exactly $17,500,000.69 in a sale, which made it the highest grossing Sundance Film Festival movie by 69 cents. Which is nice.
Nice. That's awesome.
How did you even find that fun fact?
That's
amazing.
I pulled up an article. It was an article.
So wait, it has made its money back then, has it?
I mean, it made a good bit, I'm sure. So
That's good.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, Neon did the theatrical release, and then Hulu has the streaming rights, I guess, and then also on the Amazon Prime stuff too. So, yep.
Nice.
What I really like is how they intimate, like they give you hints to, like, this guy has lived through this like time loop so many times, because like at the beginning of the movie, like his girlfriend's just like, please don't make a speech, like intimating like he's like a complete fuck up, and then when he gets onto the stage and makes a speech and he actually nails it, it's like, oh fuck. And then, like, he knows what he wants to do afterwards, like he wants to flirt with Sarah, was her name was?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just love how, like, they're gonna get into it, and then out of nowhere, like, he gets an arrow to the back, but he's not shocked by it, and he knows exactly who's that. He's like, you're a sick fuck, Roy.
Yep.
As the audience may be like, what the hell is going on?
So it's like, there's definitely been some history between those two, and he's like, the fact that he got shot in the back with an arrow, and he's totally like, not fine with it, but he's like, he expects it. Like, what the fuck is their two relationship?
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up the next morning and like, he's just chilling out in the pool. It's like, oh, okay, this is where this film's going. And like what I really like that they did is like how they switched perspectives to Sarah. So you see what he's doing at one moment, and then all of a sudden it switches to Sarah waking up and being like coming to the pool again and be like, "What the fuck? What's going on? I just want to talk." So good. It's so good.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we only see Sarah's perspective in the beginning. Like we're just as confused by his behavior and his dancing at the wedding and like knowing exactly where everything's gonna go.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing it through Sarah's perspective, not knowing what's going on with this guy and why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we get the switch. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the way that it plays with that.
You get that tiny little bit at the start with obviously Niles and his girlfriend, but oh, and shout out to the person that plays his girlfriend because she just plays that role just perfectly. Like at the start with the whole fuck, oh fuck, when she's like packing the bag and getting ready. She's just slightly.
And like, yeah,
irritating,
he's just there, like, unbothered by it. He's like, he definitely knows this is not the first time she's lost something. Like,
Exactly. Especially when this is probably like the thousandth time, probably more, that he's actually heard that. Like, yeah. I guess my thoughts on the movie as well. I'm in the same boat as always. I thought this is a very special movie. I think while it's obviously been done before, I think the thing that really I appreciate is just that it does something a little bit different with it. So, like we've talked about, having multiple people in the loop is really cool. Obviously, it can things like we've talked about Groundhog Day, but I don't know if you've ever seen Happy Death Day or Happy Death Day to You as well. Really, really cool movies. Similar premise, but once again doing something a little bit different. But this one here, I think, deals with more so they deal with it definitely quite a bit later on in Groundhog Day, but kind of the psyche and the things involved and what that would actually be like being in that particular situation. I feel like this delves pretty deep into that, which obviously we'll probably talk a little about soon. But yeah, I think they really do it in a refreshing way, and they probably sort of ground it a little bit more in some ways than some of the other movies, which is really good.
the movie definitely like had me thinking about some things by the end of it. Like, I think it did have like a message to say, which is really nice as well. Like, though I was laughing a lot during it, and I really like how everything tied up, and by the end of it, feeling something. Like, I do think it had a message to tell, and maybe towards the end of the movie discussion, I'll probably share my thoughts on what I thought it was trying to tell me.
Nice. Cool. We have some fun segments planned. Before we do that, I just do want to go through some fun facts about the movie. I know we've already thrown out a couple, but I just kind of want to go through some here. So I think one that was quite interesting is, I think it was the director or the writer had actually gone on record and saying, he's like, I'm not sure if I'm actually allowed to say this, but because someone had actually asked how long they'd actually been in a time loop for. And he said, look, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to answer, but the idea was that Niles had been in this loop for over 40 years from his perspective, and obviously Sarah for a fairly long amount of time as well, when she's learning like astrophysics and stuff towards the end, So obviously she'd been in there for quite some time as well. So I thought that was quite interesting. I actually kind of thought it might have been a little bit more than that. But yeah, I guess 40 years in the time loops definitely long enough, right?
I'd say so.
The fun fact that I have here as well is it only took 3 weeks to shoot. So
Whoa.
kind of crazy, right? Because I mean, obviously they tried to keep it pretty low budget, but there's a lot that they would have to cover off, and a lot of kind of, I guess all the wedding stuff they could have filmed pretty quickly and closely together. But there's definitely some other shots as well that would have taken some time.
Was the bomb thing CGI, or was it like practical effect? I'm just wondering about that. Maybe like it was like 4.9 million to get that just bomb scene together.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Or the dance routine, like that would take me at least probably 5 weeks to learn that, and it'd be half as not quite as good,
I've learned part of it, which is just like,
Nice.
you
You and me, Kamal, by the end of the year, we'll record that,
There you go. Looking
We'll
We'll
forward
feature
to
like
that.
New Zealand today. These two guys are Brit and New Zealand are just making these weird dances at different bars.
Yeah. When we meet up in person, we'll be able to do it together, Just find our local
Pretty
bar.
much.
Make sure we
Okay.
flip everyone off at the end,
Exactly. You got to walk out like this.
Oh, I know how I'm ending this podcast.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, you're going to forget that,
I got you.
It's,
We
it's
got
something
this.
I've wanted to do for a while, Ben.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you, buddy.
Now he has an excuse.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
perfect.
It's not like you haven't done that to me, Ben, on a show.
Oh, you can't see it though, Al. That's the difference. I'm doing it right
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. There you go. Great.
Yep.
now. Fun fact: it wasn't actually shot in Palm Springs, which I thought was interesting. I don't. Yeah. Very
Was
cool.
it Guinea?
Sorry, I didn't actually know. I just
Mm.
I'm not that well informed. I didn't do that much research.
Well, thankfully we can't see. You can probably Google it as we just talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah, or just be like, sure, that's exactly where they filmed it. Let's move
Yeah.
on. Interesting thing which we did want to kind of include here are the dinosaurs in the movie because
Santa Clarita, it says.
Oh, there you go.
It says, Los Angeles area rather than Palm Springs.
I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it says that it was announced in November 18 after it secured a tax credit to film in California. However, due to limitations, they were forced to film in LA area rather than Palm Springs. So,
Looks exactly like that area where we just saw the New Girl season finale filmed at. So
it does actually.
that same desert, you know. Yeah, fun fact about the dinosaurs. So you probably would have noticed the dinosaurs throughout the movie.
Yes.
Obviously, that pivotal scene when they're taking the mushrooms, but then obviously at the end. So I just got this here, which says the dinosaurs that Sarah and Niles encountered in the middle of the film are also included at the end of the film. As the camera pans up from where the pair are floating in the unknown family pool, they were intentionally placed there for eagle-eyed viewers to question whether Niles and Sarah had gotten out of the loop. According to the writer Andy, the dinosaurs are meant to be real. If Niles and Sarah, two characters who didn't think they were capable of love, can find it, then dinosaurs must really exist. So the whole idea, and I guess it's probably a good time to talk about the ending and what you thought about that, because obviously it was meant to be left relatively open-ended for people to sort of make up their own decision. But I guess, Erica, what did you sort of firstly think of the ending of the movie?
well, now that you say that little fact about if two people like them can find love, dinosaurs must really exist, that kind of just hit me in a way that I totally didn't expect. Because as far as the ending, and that was, it was kind of a point for me, especially in this movie, where the love side of it was a nice point, and especially with him, and you could see how it kind of evolved through the film, where at the beginning he was kind of just like going through the motions of the everyday, and then in the morning he would wake up with a smaller smile on the face, and his smile kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger every morning that he would wake up. And I think, I mean, and that's actually really cool, and I really, really like that, especially with just how everyone knows how I feel about dinosaurs. So that kind of really makes me happy, actually, because it's love, and that's awesome, and that it is. And I'm not typically a fan of like the love movies and stuff like that, but I actually really like the love part of the story of this movie. And I did enjoy the ending, and it makes me happy to think that, hey, maybe they did get out of the time loop, and it's not just, they're not just stuck there and hoping, it's just, keep going. But I really like that. That makes me really happy. That makes me even like this movie even more. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are great, you know?
Yes, they are.
And what about you, buddy? What do you think of the ending?
I loved the ending. I'm in the same boat as Erica. I loved the ending. Everything about that weird tension that happens where he doesn't want to leave, and it's just like as soon as we're introduced to this main character, all he ever wants to do is leave this time loop, and then it's just I love how the ending plays out and how he ends up having to sacrifice what he thinks is his life in order for him to trust her and do it. I love it. I love every bit of it.
Nice. And that very long sentence at the end there from Andy Samberg was...
Yes.
Most of it was improvised. Like, it was meant to be, I think, a little bit shorter, but they both sort of thought it would be idea to make it a little bit stranger and weirder and a little bit longer. So I thought that was
It was
cool.
perfect. It was
That's
perfect the way
really
they did that.
And what do you think, Camille? What do you think of the ending, buddy?
I echo the sentiments of both Al and Erica. I really love the ending, and I like to think they did make it out the time loop. But like they made it out the time loop. They're both enjoying each other's company. They're in love and stuff like that. And does it matter that maybe in a week down the end of this time loop they might break up and go their separate ways? It doesn't really matter. They're there in that moment, enjoying themselves, enjoying each other's company, and just having a great time with each other. So I just love the ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that sort of keep it relatively sort of, obviously we don't know beyond that what that's going to look like. And when you hear Niles talking about earlier in the film that, I think it was where he talks about that he can't actually remember what he actually does for a living and things like that. I'm like, what's life going to be like for you outside of this? Like, is it, I guess, to a certain degree, you're kind of starting off fresh. You'll try and piece together what you can from your old life, but like, yeah, a lot has obviously happened since then, and it'd
I
be
like
such a
how he's like, I need to go get the dog, and she's like, you have a dog?
yeah.
He's like, yeah. It's like, oh, okay. You never said you had a
that's
dog.
a great line.
Do you not think the scene in the credits sort of gives us a solid answer about whether or not they made it out of the loop?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably more closed than they might sort of lead you to think. Like, say, reading up about this, they did talk to the people that made the film. Like, we weren't at it really open-ended, but I think for the most part, I'm in the same boat. Like, obviously, I feel like they've either made it out of the loop, or maybe it's some sort of other reality that they're both in together. But I mean, either way, I feel like it was kind of a nice sort of sweet ending. But I'm with you, Al. I think it was probably a little bit more closed than it potentially could have been, or maybe that was the original ending. Maybe that was meant to be more open. I don't know if it's necessarily definitive, but yeah, I think it's probably a little bit more closed than leaving a lot of stuff open for interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think the stuff that's in the mid, well, what would that be? I guess the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Roy. Yeah, with him not knowing. Yeah, I think.
To me, I took that as confirmation that he's
Yeah.
like
He's
Niles
out.
is back. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, and like especially that line about the dinosaurs thing. I think that also sort of
Yeah.
solidifies a little bit of that as well. So
I'd agree.
no, I thought it was a great ending, and a really, really, especially with these kind of movies, it is very hard to obviously stick the landing. And I think they absolutely nailed it. Yeah.
This
I mean, they did a great
transcends
job
these
of
kind of
getting-
movies. It transcends it easily for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a regular rom-com or.
No.
I wish we get. I know you don't want to overdo a genre, but I always love these kind of movies. Just the like the Groundhog Day, like Happy Death Day. Like I don't
And
think
that's-
it's done to death yet. I think there's always an interesting way or interesting take you can make.
I really like that some of these, so I'm looking just over some of the things it was nominated for and awards that it won, and things like Best Comedy, Best Science Fiction Fantasy, Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Like some of these are a lot of different categories that you just don't see things in it together, and it's things that, this movie firmly fits into all of these different categories.
She literally
It's great.
learns quantum physics to like
She
find a way
Yes.
of it.
Exactly.
I
Like,
like that
I like
guy's
that.
response. He's just like, he's like, I don't even know if you need my help. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
like do you really?
why are you even?
Yeah, that's great. And they did. They Critics' Choice Award. They won for Best Comedy. Critics' Choice Super Awards. They won for Best Science Fiction Fantasy Movie, Best Actor in a Science Fiction Fantasy Movie, and Best Actress in a Science Fiction Fantasy Movie. So that was pretty cool. And Best Breakthrough Performance for an Actress from the Hollywood Critics Association. So, and then they were
yeah.
nominated for a whole bunch of stuff too. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
I literally had never heard about this film. When Ben said, "Oh, do you want to go watch that and come on?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And like
Yeah.
hearing that it was Lonely Island, I was expecting something very different.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched any of their films, but like back in the day on YouTube, like watching their videos and stuff like that, I correlate them with just being goofy, dumb fucks, enjoying life and doing stupid things, and like to have this movie that was quite impactful, it was a pleasant surprise. And like, yeah, the time thing could have gone a different way. Like I've seen a few movies like that, but this definitely is probably one of the best iterations of like time travel / looping that I've seen. So,
Yeah, I'd agree. Absolutely.
A couple of things. I don't think anyone has done this particular spin on this particular kind of subject matter, right? Because you mentioned, Ben, that other than Happy Death Day and Groundhog Day, you can't think of a
I
similar.
can't think of too many more that do it. There's the odd one, but I think they're the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also had people advising. I can't remember exactly where they're from, but people that do a lot of theorizing around the space, and I think they might have been the same people that actually helped with the MCU time travel stuff, just to try and make sure continuity-wise that it actually worked, which I feel
That's really cool.
sort of makes it even stronger. Like that, everything seems extremely well thought out and well planned. And I think
I love the
it also-
mechanic where it's like, oh, you have to stay awake. As soon as you fall asleep, you go back into the
Yeah.
loop again. That worked really well. It's so simple. Like you don't have to overthink it. Like if you fall asleep, you're back. Like how Sarah just tries in the first day, just try to stay awake the entire time, goes all the way back to
Yep.
was it like Austin, and like falls asleep and ends up back where like in Palm Springs. It's a good mechanic.
Yeah.
and it doesn't break any of its own rules.
Exactly.
It really doesn't.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
the
keep it
same
pretty
with
simple.
Roy whenever he gets hurt and he's in the hospital and they don't let him sleep because they're afraid if he goes in a coma he'll die. So they literally keep him awake so he stays awake the whole time.
I
So he
like how
can't go
Niles is
back.
in the car and he's just
Yeah.
like, "Why are you putting your head like that?" Like, "Oh, it's much easier if I just die straight away. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be awake."
Exactly. It's easier if
He's
you
got
just
these
quick death.
rules for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick death, not a slow
It's kind of
death.
like Zombieland, where like the guy's got rule number one. Like,
It really is.
I like it. I like the part where she's talking about how many people have you been intimate with, and he's like, "That's a lot of work." Like,
Yeah. So,
I do
lot.
like
I mean-
I do like Sarah trying to figure out how to escape the time loop, where she's like, "Wait, if I'm a good person, maybe I can escape the time loop." And he's
Yeah.
just like, "I literally gave that guy $100 for a candy bar. It's not fucking worth it. I'm telling
Yeah.
you."
yeah, you know that's a scam, right? He's like, "Yeah."
So whenever she says that and then she goes and talks to her sister during a wedding, it makes me wonder if what she goes and tells her sister is that she slept with her fiance
Yeah.
the night before. Because they never
I
really
think that's
go
what
into
happened.
it. But I think that's like, because you're like, well, what does she say to her? Because they never go back
At first,
to
I thought
it.
she said about the cave, like, "Oh, there's gonna be an earthquake in a second. You're not gonna believe
Yeah.
me." But the one thing that this film did really well is like giving you those sort of like reveals and that understanding about what's happening very
Yeah.
slowly. Like, there's one moment I think probably one of the most powerful moments in the film is like when you see her wake up from the groom's bed and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And this is why she's a bit depressed about everything and just doesn't give a
Yeah.
shit. Like at the beginning of the movie, it's like, "Just fill it up with wine. I don't want to know."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like,
that
wow.
that part, my heart just broke. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, it makes sense now. And you're right, they did. I think that's another reason why, again, this movie it just goes above and beyond your typical rom-coms, goofy, time loopy movies where it's not just that. And I think that's why this one just really, I think this one's gonna stick with me.
Yeah, she's such a well-developed character, and obviously they all are, and obviously that reveal where I think it's quite interesting where Niles he actually knows obviously eventually what happened, and she's like, "How did you know?" And he just knows from he's been there that long. He can tell by the perfume that was being that. It's just so well thought out and so well crafted. The story and the characters are just so good.
And just seeing like how their interactions, change each other, like how the point, like Niles going from this like, excuse the pun, nihilist to like just living his life and like, just doing whatever, doesn't care, like he's just there for the moment, to suddenly being like, oh, there is something that he wants to live for, and it's amazing.
Exactly.
Now on that,
That was the first ever unintentional Kumail pun, I think.
It was officially unofficial pun.
Oh,
$3, hell yeah.
it's one for each of us.
And on that, I thought it might be good just to have a quick chat about the characters, because we don't get too many here, but the main ones I want to sort of talk about, obviously Sarah, Niles, and Roy. I think we'll save Roy for last, because I think that's kind of an interesting take. So let's have we chat about Sarah. I know we've already sort of had a wee chat, but how do we think about, what do we think about her character? Al, we'll kick it off with you, buddy.
She's damaged. She's made some mistakes, and she's trying to make the most out of what this situation that Niles has put her through. And I think that's a great starting point for your leading character, whether it's like the leading lady or the leading man or whatever. Like it's just, you start off broken, but we discover all the broken parts of her. I like that she's not the rom-com type of love interest. Let's just say that.
Nice. And Kamal, what do you think, buddy?
Oh yeah, I echo what Al said. Like, and it's just like, just seeing like the way she was throughout the movie, and seeing like all the pieces sort of add up and starting to understand the character a lot more. It really adds to it. I think the actress was great as well. She's such a fun actress, honestly. Like, I loved her interactions with Niles. So yeah, that made things a bit sweeter. But I can't add anything to what Al said. I totally agree.
Yeah, I think with the two of them, I sort of thought at the end, I'm like, are they going to stick it out? Are they going to be there together? But then I was like, you know what? They've been in this loop for so long under pretty horrible like conditions. It would do a lot to you if they can make it through that. Like,
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. So I thought that was cool. Andy, Eric, what do you think? What do you think of Sarah?
I think one of my favorite things that she does in this movie is when she throws him the birthday party in the bar and she has the big sign
Yes.
up that says "Happy Millionth Birthday, Dipshit" or something along those lines. It's it's just fantastic, and you're right. She's not your stereotypical rom com girl, which I love because just that's just not the characters that I typically gravitate toward. I love this. You're right. She starts out this, you know, she wants that full cup of wine all the way up to the very tip of the glass, and you don't know why at the beginning, and we slowly see why, but we also see her making the best of a shit situation, which is great. And it's kind of, I always say we'll figure it out. That always seems to be my line. We'll figure it out. And that very much seems to be her line as well, which makes me happy. And I really, really, really love how she portrayed this character.
She's very self-aware, isn't she? Because like at the
Yes.
beginning of the movie, when she's talking to Niles, and Niles like, oh, what's your deal? And she's like, oh, my family thinks I'm a complete liability and a fuck up. And then Niles is like, why do they think that? And she's like,
Yeah.
because I'm a complete liability and a fuck up. And it's like,
Yeah, exactly. She's very straightforward and she knows exactly what it is, and she's just gonna tell you exactly how it is, and it's great. I love it. So yeah,
So good.
it's a good character.
Yeah, and I agree. I think she's just fantastic in that role, and it's such a well written, well developed character. And I think the like we talked about the premise of her waking up on probably what is actually the worst day of her life, and repeating that how yeah, so well played. And like I said, that twist and that reveal when you actually find that out is it was so good to actually see. But no, I just have to back everyone up here. I think yeah, she's a fantastic character. Which leads us to Niles. So what do we think of Niles? Let's kick it off with you, Erica, this time.
So I mean, almost a little bit backwards here. He at the beginning, is just kind of, given up. Like he's like, "Yep, here we are. We're just gonna do this day again. Let's do it a little different this time, I guess." And uh, again, also a little very self-aware of where he is, and but at the same time not, just because he's losing these bits and pieces of himself because he's been doing this time loop thing for who knows how long. um, but he plays this part so well, and I think that's why this movie worked very, very, very good. And I love his laid back nature, especially at the beginning, and how he tries to stop her from coming into the cave with him. He's like, "Don't do it. You don't want to be in here." And she kind of still has that, need to want to try to help him because he was just shot with 2 arrows. Um, but his character is so interesting just because you don't know a lot about him, and he doesn't know a lot about him, but he's still trying to, make it through every day as much as he can. He's tried all of the, you know, different ways to get out of the loop that he can see, and but he keeps trying to just do every day like he can, as much as he
he
can,
just
I
accepts
guess.
that reality at some point. Is
Exactly.
that this is my
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. And what do you think, buddy? What do you think of Niles?
I love that we see him from Sarah's perspective, and we find out more. We find out more about Niles as Sarah finds out more about him, and we find out more about Sarah as Niles finds out more about her. And to me, those little layers and just like peeling them away and finding out little bits and pieces as they get to know each other, that just immerses me in the movie all that much more. I love the being part of like them getting to know each other as a viewer. I think, yeah, that's why I love these characters.
And
It makes
credit to the
makes the story
writers.
so much better, eh? Just to the fact that, like you said, that they can bounce off each other like that. So we're seeing it from Sarah's eyes, as obviously the viewer at the same time as she's learning and finding out about this,
Yep.
which I think makes it so different and so cool. That,
Yes.
there's that there. No, absolutely, buddy. And Kamal, what do you think, buddy?
I was just going to credit to the writers for writing two characters that we're really engaged with and really invested in. Like I said at the beginning of like watching this movie, there wasn't one moment where I was looking at the time thinking, when's this going to be over? I was just always wanting to find out what's going to happen next, and it made time fly. So I mean, like, I don't have anything to say about Niall specifically that hasn't already been said. Like, he's a great character. I love how laid back he is, and like just seeing his journey from not giving a shit to suddenly finding out that he does give a shit is amazing. Yeah, love
I also
Niles.
do. Nice. And I got the easy job because I'm just going to agree with you all. And I've already said a little bit about that. So no, such a
Ben
great.
said this conversation happened like 15 million times. He's
Exactly. No, fantastic character and so well written, and just like I said, just how they can just the continuity of this movie is just incredible. Just everything's so well thought out, and a lot of that comes through from the Niles character. Like you've talked about before, that it just knows this reality so well that when Sarah comes in, like you said, Kamal, earlier, where she's like talking, oh, we can just get out of it this way, and he's like, oh yeah, like he says it in a way that's almost like, yeah, I definitely haven't tried that before, like,
Yeah.
like in some of the ways he says that. So yeah, hats off to you, Andy Samberg, just killed it, you know. Which leads me to the final character I really want to talk about. So, I feel like this movie would have been amazing
You're a
without
sick fuck,
it.
Roy. You're a sick fuck.
This movie still would have been incredible without him, but man, does he just elevate it to that next level and just give it so much more depth and character. So, I want to talk about Roy, and Kamal, I want to kick off with you, buddy. What do you think of Roy?
I mean, Roy's that wingman that everybody needs in their life, you know. And poor Roy, you know, he thinks he's like having a shit life, but then it takes this time loop for him to realize that actually, you know, I had a pretty good life. I think Roy's probably one of the most important characters, intentionally or unintentionally, in this movie, because I just want to get to that bit, and it's the bit that probably impacted me most, where like Niles goes to Roy's house and is like, dude, I haven't seen you in ages. And like Roy's come to that realization where he's taken a step back and looked at the life that he has with his wife, his 2 kids, and like even the one of his kids like watering a piece of shit. It's just like, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But like Roy's that character where, you know, he's got a lot of anger, pent up frustration. You know, he doesn't realize what he's got in life, and he comes to a point where this loop has made him reflect on it and be like, actually, I've got a pretty good life, and I actually want to live it to its fullest. And I think Roy as a character, like, of course, we see all that interactions with Niles, but that one moment hit me particularly with him being like, Roy's that character that just needed to stop going through the motions and finally take a step back and actually reflect on like what he's got and understand like how precious it is. And yeah, I really liked his character for that reason. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Roy.
Nice. And Al, what do you think, buddy?
I totally agree with Camille. I find it fascinating that Roy is the one that was forced into the loop, and as opposed to Sarah. Sarah had a choice. Roy was forced in. You would think like this is one of those things, one of those unexpected turns that the movie takes for me. Like one of the little many things in the movie. You would think that in order to add more tension between the 2 love interests, maybe there with Sarah there would have been Niles forcing her into the loop and tricking her just like he did with Roy, but it's like the opposite. I love that that's different. And
well, to be fair, you're saying tricking, but like, I mean, the guy's like, this is the best night of my life. He's like, I can help you have that best night every night. And it's like, he wakes up the next morning like, what the fuck have you done?
Don't fuck with me, Genie, is what I'll say to that.
Yeah.
Nice. And Erica, what did you think?
I mean, I agree with everything that they've said already. That scene where Niles goes to Roy's house was probably one of the most impactful scenes in the entire movie. And yeah, and like you said, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, but yeah, I you know, when he was stuck in the ICU being kept awake because they didn't want him to go to sleep, you know, after Sarah hit him with the car, he had lots of time to think, and he realized, you know, yeah, I'm gonna sit here and watch my son water a pile of dog shit, and I'm gonna my daughter here dressed up like
it's the bit where he's just like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful, exactly. Like he, what did he say? You know, you'll find your you know, you'll find your happiness too, or you know, you'll find your Irvine, I think is what it was. That was where he's from. Irvine.
It's kind of sad too, right? Because he's obviously got that moment where Niles is like, "Can you kill me one last time?" Like he doesn't know he's getting out of the loop at that point, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad. They're kind of almost saying their goodbyes. They're not going to see each other, and he's like, "Can you kill me one last time?" Like,
Side yard, yeah, side yard. Let's go. So, and they put him in the trash can, and he shoots him with the bow and arrow, and you know, it's a real sweet moment. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Roy wasn't a necessary character, but also I mean, I don't know if the movie would have been the same without him. because it was
Yeah.
he wasn't there for a lot, but those moments when he was, it was pretty
That
impactful.
montage of him just torturing Niles.
So great. That was
It's like,
hilarious.
oh, this
Gosh.
pool smells different. And
Yeah.
It's
So good.
Oh.
And I love the
Yeah.
concept that he just lives far away and he had like traveled there
Yep.
for the wedding. Like it's so
Just-
cool. And so he just comes round every few weeks to
Every
just,
few-
fucking-
yep.
Just to screw with him. It's
So funny.
fantastic. Love it.
just take out his pimped up
And
rage
imagine,
and
like,
frustration.
you're
on him.
always on edge because you just don't know when he's going to turn
When
up.
Roy's gonna show up. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like that GIF, surprise, motherfucker. It's just Roy.
Yup.
All right, now let's get into the fun segments because we've got some fun things planned
Can we-
for today.
I just want to shout out one of the characters
Yeah, buddy.
before we move on from characters. The bartender, played by
Oh,
Jenna
yes.
Friedman. She's fantastic. She's a great comedian writer. She worked on Daily Show and a bunch of crazy stuff. She's really good in this role. She made me laugh out loud.
That
a
moment
bunch
in the
of
car
times.
where she's like, I had a person in this car, whatever it was.
That was so good.
She's so
What would
good.
you say they'll never walk again or something?
And that's the exact same moment. Nas is ready. Like, such good
So
timing.
great. So great.
That's so good. Let's go into some of these fun segments. So I've messaged you all about some of these fun segments. Some a little bit more short notice than others, so some probably had some more time to think about it. But first off, I want to do a section. It's just called Favorite Death. Let's just talk about our favorite deaths of the movie. I might actually kick it off this time. I'm going to go with the plane death, where obviously it's a great one. They get in there, don't know what the hell's going on, and then just the plane just crashes. And that's absolutely something I would try if I was stuck in a time loop. I thought that was really, really great. So Kumail, what was your favorite death scene, buddy?
I'm so sorry if I'm taking this away from anybody, but we just talked about it, and it was just like
Excellent.
him being in the bin, and he's like, you know, will you shoot me one last time? Just because of like, you know, it's not like the funnest death that's happened, but it's like what that death meant. You know,
Yeah,
it
probably the most
just hit
meaningful, yeah.
different. Yeah, and just like he's just like, can you kill me one last time? It's like, sure, side yard. Like, and just how perfect it was, like arrow, and he just falls down the bin and just like close.
Such a
Amazing.
clean way to go, you know?
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
roll it out on Tuesday, you know, the
Yeah,
bin collectors can take it out, you know?
but no, yeah, that was my favorite for a multitude of reasons.
I'm glad that wasn't the last day that they decided to escape the loop, you know? It was just Sarah that made it out, and then the rubbish bin the next day would be like, what the hell?
Shit, I know we're in the middle of a segment, but there was one character we forgot. It was like that biker guy. He's like, "I'm your son." It's like, I always knew there's something different.
Yes, that was so good. Oh yeah,
That was awesome.
that was a good one.
We've also got to shout out that lady at the bar. I can't remember her name, but she was...
Oh, God.
she was-
Darla.
Darla, that's the one. She was so
Darla.
good.
She's fantastic.
And what about you, buddy? What's your what was your favorite death of the movie?
That was the one where he wanted to beat traffic, and I was asking him to kill him one last time. That was my favorite for sure.
Nice. And what about you, Erica?
So you actually took mine. It was definitely the plane, because
Yay, plane
as much
buddies.
as I love buddies, as much as I
Bin buddies, you and I, Camille.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh, for fun.
do. bin. Oh, God. I do love the bin scene. I love that whole thing with Roy. It's fantastic. But there's just, I mean, you're right, Ben. If I was stuck in a time loop and you died and just came back the next day, I would probably crash a plane somewhere. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think
Why
that
not?
would
Just give it a go. You know?
that would be a thing. Because I would want to steal a plane and do something stupid like that, and just I would probably wreck it because I cannot fly a plane. So nor have I ever even been in a plane for that matter. So it's fine. So yeah.
Well, that leads nicely into our next segment. Thanks, Erica.
Could I,
which is
before we go to the
what-
next segment, can I just have a message for the audience at home, and
Just
for both
ruining my
you?
segues here, Kamal,
you
know,
and
just
Erica.
out here ruining my segues. You know, these are
Please,
amazing segues.
please don't try take a plane at home. Okay, it was a movie. Don't try that at
Yeah,
home,
don't do
please.
that at home. Please
You're
don't.
not gonna wake up in your bed
You're
the next
not.
morning.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't try that, please.
Oh, dear.
This episode brought
Just
to you
don't
by the
take
plane
planes.
safety.
Yeah.
Period. Just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Camille and
especially
I
at the
can't
moment.
talk too much about that stuff. Yeah.
Al, it's very rare you make one of those jokes, but I'm glad you did.
Thank you for staring right in the
Wow.
camera too while you did, and I appreciate that.
How's the beard
Sorry, go
growing?
ahead, man.
I
Oh,
love you.
I trimmed it because of that.
Yes. Can I get on the plane, please?
Oh God.
Anyway.
I'm gonna regret this, aren't I?
Yeah, Al's hidden in
yeah.
plain sight.
I blame Kemal for this, though.
No, it was Al this time. Wasn't
That
even
was
me.
totally that.
We had this amazing segue, though. You know, we had it all planned, you know?
That's fine.
You had all
Wait,
plain.
We've
That's
done
what you
that.
want.
You guys have done that to me, where you just mess up my segues. It's
Oh,
fine.
I'm just
we'll
messing
get
with
back
Kemal.
on.
It was-
It's all right.
no,
I'm here,
absolutely.
brother. I'm here for
Alright.
you.
So
I'm just
I
messing
would
with
definitely
you,
crash.
buddy.
I've never been on a plane. Ben.
Oh, Erica, now that you mentioned that, what a great segue. I want to know what you would like to do for the first month if you were stuck in a time loop.
Man, oh. That's a rough question because my immediate thought would be work on my backlog of video games, but I don't know if any of them would save, so that might not work. I would just
Oh,
have to stay
didn't
up and
realize that.
finish. I'd have to stay up and just finish a whole game at a time. So I guess that would kind of work.
Oh, that would suck. You're right. I had that on my list, but I didn't even think of that.
But I
Erica,
think
you would become the best speedrunner of any video game
I
ever.
would. I definitely would. But I think that would be. I think that would be part of it. I think I would work on my backlog of video games and books. I would want to read a lot, which I would remember where I left off on my books, so I could just pick back up, and that would be fine. So, I think that would be two things, like just that and probably hike a lot. Just do like that kind of stuff, like go outside and walk, just because outside is nice, especially because it's a really nice day that they're stuck in. I hope I get that kind of weather in my time loop because that's really nice weather. So, yeah, that's what I would do, I think. Just easy stuff like that. I'm not looking for anything special or fantastic. I just want to chill. I need a vacation really bad.
Good answer. And I hope you get that vacation very
I
soon.
appreciate that. Soon. I am. I'm planning it. Don't worry.
Al, I want to know what you think, buddy. What would you do if you were stuck in a time loop? What are some fun things, shenanigans you get up to, you know?
I would work on my backlog of restaurants.
Nice.
That's good.
You're not gonna gain, like, everything gets reset, so
Yeah.
might as well just go for indulgences, right?
Oh,
Al, it's that thing where you go to a restaurant and you're like, I really enjoy this dish, and like you want to try the other dish, but you're like, you know what, I know what I enjoy. I'm just gonna get this. So you
None of that.
You be like, you be like, I'm gonna reset and try everything I want to. Oh my god, that is the right answer. You've won. Congratulations. Like,
I can
Thank you.
finally eat things I'm allergic to because if I die, I'll just come back the next day.
There you go. There you go.
Amazing.
that's
Love it.
Oh man,
Love
I
it.
wish I thought of that answer now. That's fucking great.
That's a good
Kemal,
one.
what's your great answer that's even better?
I wish it was Al's because like everything you're telling comparison. I don't know. There's like things that have happened in my life where I've like had theories of like why it's happened, but never gone to like sort of like find out if that was the reason why or if it wasn't the reason why. So knowing that I could like find out it's the reason why and like reset so no one remembers anything or like I don't have to have that conversation again, it's like that would be pretty nice. But I guess I'm just gonna copy what Al's doing now because like I'd love to be able to go to a restaurant and actually try these like peanut like butter like covered chicken wings and see if they're actually any good.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
And it all gets reset the next day, and you can go
Yeah.
back and try it again or try new things.
it's funny though because like I've had this entire week off and like my days have literally been like a loop where I've just woken up, Monster Hunter, put it back down, go to sleep, wake up, Monster Hunter, put it back down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
But no,
buddy.
Al's a
Gotta
genius.
add some Pizza Hut to that. That's all you need,
Oh
buddy.
yes, yes.
There you go.
See, I just want to ride a lion or a rhino. I want to go to the zoo. I just want to, maybe a giraffe. You know, just break
That's
the
not gonna end up how
design.
you think it is.
Yeah, how does that go in your head, Ben? I was just gonna ask, like how do you think that goes? Please.
Or day one, I'm feeling like it's going to be a disaster. Day two,
Yeah.
probably disaster. Three,
Yeah.
disaster.
Are you
Four,
saying you're gonna
four.
start getting the hang of how to do it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Day 4, I'm gonna have that down. Like I'm holding onto its mane. We're like riding down the street. Like I feel like what do you think would be easier, the lion, the rhino, or the
I'm just
giraffe?
picturing
Lion.
you sitting on a rhino, holding on to its nose, and
That's a great tactic. So I think I might try that day 2. Day 1's going to be just sitting on it,
See
seeing what
now.
happens.
It's like
Matt Ferguson, please draw that.
me and Al are just at a restaurant eating our dinner, looking outside, and like, there's some fucker on the like a rhinoceros going down the street, and all you can hear is like, "What's up?"
And then the
Like
lion's
me
just
and Al
going,
are just like, "Is that Ben?"
just
Like,
ripping my
"What
head
a
off.
rhino?"
I'm sitting on a rock somewhere reading a book, and I just see him grind past on a lion.
Yep.
It's fine.
I bet
Checks
after
out.
Two,
That's
2
Ben.
weeks. 2 weeks, I could get probably at least.
I love how
500
that's
meters on
so
the
on
line.
brand for Ben as well. Because like when
It
we're playing video
is.
games, he's like, "Oh, this thing looks friendly." It's not like Ben. No, don't go near that thing. It's gonna kill you. He's like, "No, it looks friendly. I just want to be friends."
It's just like a horse that might try and kill you once in a while, you know?
Exactly.
Ben, do you know what the definition of insanity is?
Please be excited.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I'd definitely have to do that, and obviously I'd definitely want to learn more languages. It'd be,
That's
Oh
a
yeah,
good one.
absolutely.
that'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just want to steal some puppies and just roll around and have puppies like rolling around me. That always looks fun. You know?
Ben just becomes a villain accidentally.
And how much shit would you guys break if you're in a time loop? You can't tell me that you just get the baseball bat out and just smash a
Yes.
bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I'd cringe if I did that. 'Cause-
Aw.
You
Yeah,
go to
every
you go to a hotel room and crash a hotel
Just
room.
one day. Just once.
Yeah, just once.
The best thing would be if you do that and that's the one day it doesn't loop. Like, you wake up the next day, you're like, oh god,
I
I just
actually
trashed the
thought
entire
briefly
apartment.
that's gonna happen. Like at some point, it's gonna be like, oh well, it's just like, oh shit. It's like
my
November
God.
10th now, releasing. Oh man, yeah,
So
no,
good,
I don't
so
have it
good.
in me to break stuff.
You say that now, but when there are no consequences, believe me,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna enjoy it.
I
It's
give,
very
I'll give Kumail
therapeutic.
2 days, if that, like before chaos is happening. Like, he says this now, but I'm like, Kumail in 2 days is just gonna start
Dude, it's
trying
like
some crazy
well,
wacky
back
stuff.
in the day, I used to play a lot of FIFA with my friends, and I was at my friend's house, like playing FIFA. Something happened. I'm like, oh bullshit, and I like threw the controller across the room, and immediately I was like, oh no, have I broken the controller? And thankfully, it was totally okay. But my friends were laughing at me. But like, yeah, no, I don't want to go back to that. Like, I
Well,
don't
the
want to go back
judgment
to
in your eyes when I said what I was going to do, but I know in like, let's say after 5 years, you're definitely going down to the zoo and you're trying to play a real life Pokemon with animals there.
That's yeah. That's fair.
All you have to do
You're
is
going
give
to
him
capture a meerkat. You know?
give him the steel case of Temtem and a baseball bat, and I'm sure
Exactly.
he'll go to town.
Exactly.
Oh man. Oh, do you know what I would do actually? Is I'd actually travel,
Oh,
like, and like, yeah, exactly. Like, meet all you guys, see what you like in real life, and like, cut you off for your dicks and like keep you if you're pretty cool.
or just
real?
cut off your dicks.
Yeah, yeah. Just to feel what it's like. Guys, it's me, oh, dude. Well, why have we gone down this route? Why have we gone
yeah.
down this route?
That's a fun one.
Gotta find our way back now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hang on.
Oh boy.
I'll find my way back.
Speaking of boy, Erica, let's go to our next segment, Party
Where-
Boy Roy.
What?
I know, what a segue, you know? That wasn't planned before, it's amazing. So we're going to be talking about what we would do when we want to sort of party with Roy. Obviously, we've got that great scene with him, that montage with Niles and Roy. I want to know what you would do if you were partying with Roy. Let's kick it off with Erica. Erica, what is in store for a night with you and Roy?
I mean, I'm in bed by like 10 o'clock at the latest, man. Like,
Let's say it's midday, you know?
okay. I mean, I think if Roy is crazy, like Roy's crazy. I want to do some shots of tequila with Roy. I think. That's probably gonna be my craziest I got with Roy because I don't even know if I can handle that anymore. Maybe we could play some board games. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. I'll do.
What I like is like Erica says like I'm at bed at 10, and all I imagined was like Roy just being there with a book reading a bedtime story to Erica. It's just like
Oh,
Yes.
That would
I
be
like that
great.
idea way better.
You
I
just
like
have
that one
J.K.
way
Simmons
better.
reading you a bedtime story.
Yeah, can we go back to that instead? Forget what I said. I just want Roy reading me bedtime stories instead.
And singing
like
you the
that one.
night night song, you know?
And singing me the night night song. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I love it.
What about you, buddy? What are you and Roy getting up to? What kind of crazy shenanigans are you gonna do?
The only thing I can think of is probably go hunting with Roy.
Ooh.
That's a
Also,
good
it's
one.
humane because everything gets reset. Nobody really dies, so we're good.
They still feel the pain now. They still feel the pain.
Aww.
Why'd you have to ruin it for me? It'll be quick and painless, or just go on a safari with.
Well, Roy
and
has
just-
got a shot on him, hasn't he? So I'd imagine it would be like quick and painless.
And Kumal, what about you, buddy? What are you doing with Roy? What are you
Roy,
getting up to?
Roy's my wingman, dude. I'm getting hooked up thanks to Roy.
Nice. Is he gonna be at your Monster Hunter party?
Just play Monster Hunter with Roy.
Spoilers. I've
Squad
actually
up.
paid £5,000 just hang out with J.K. Simmons. Like so. No. He's like the cool uncle you just want to chill out with and like listen to some of his life stories, you know. So I just sit down with like a cup of tea and just listen to like his stories and get some advice from him. Actually, he seems like someone you could open up to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
Look, if we're in the time loop and we're partying, like it probably comes back to the zoo or Antarctic Centre where I want to break
There we
in
go.
some meerkats or some penguins or
There
something.
we go. Okay.
I thought Ben's just gonna jump on top of J.K. Simmons, just like, all right, giddy up.
J.K. Simmons.
Do you think they would go better or
Ride,
worse? Would they go better or worse than trying to ride the lion?
Depends on how
worse.
far you're into the loop. Maybe
Yeah.
day 25, he just gives up. Like Al, do you remember that episode of South Park, The Dog Whisperer, where like Dog Whisperer was employed to like get control of Cartman?
Cartman.
Just,
Yep.
like-
I watched
just,
that
like,
one
Ben-
today as well.
Ben would just be like, "Psst," and it just like listens.
Dominant. Yeah. You have to exert dominance, I think, is what the dog whisperer would say.
Uh-huh.
So you'd have to be dominant of J.K. Simmons, I think, Ben.
I don't know
That's
if
another
possible.
Ferguson original that I want to see. Ben writing J.K. Simmons.
I hope he never
Exerting
That's
speaks.
dominance.
Busy. I need to
Please.
get a hold of him before you guys do. Oh,
Are we going
Oh,
down
it-
Palm Springs, Doggy Dog? Is that what we do?
Well, you know what, Kumal? That goes nicely into our next segment. We're just killing these segues. I want to know who you'd go to Palm Springs with. Kumal, go, buddy. Who are you taking to,
Oh, fuck.
if you're
This
having a
is the
fun
one that you
weekend at
come
Palm
to first
Springs?
for. Fuck you. Is it fictional or is it real life?
It could be whatever you want, buddy. You know, it could be.
fuck.
You can take Ash
this is
Ketchum if
really
you want, you know?
rough. This and actually, I was just gonna say you could take Ash Ketchum if you want. This is really difficult.
You can't capture her. She's the bride. I don't know. There's so many cool people that I'd like to go to Palm Springs with. I'm like,
I mean-
at that point, I'm gonna bottle it and just say I'll go with myself. You know what? I'm just gonna enjoy this trip solo and just discover things because I can't pick one person.
What does that mean? You're going to go with yourself and discover things.
Yeah, just like, well, you know, like
He's gonna
when you
go by
travel with
himself
other
first.
Oh, you're
people,
going to find yourself.
when you travel with other
Ah.
people, you have to accommodate them and be like, "Are you tired? Should we just go back to the hotel?" Da, 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 da. When you're by yourself, I can just keep walking to wherever and just literally discover shit. Just
That
like,
sounds like an
"Oh,
indie
that's pretty
movie.
cool." Like, yeah.
I definitely want to see this movie of you going to Palm Springs by yourself and just hanging out and meeting new people, you know?
Actually, do you know what, Ben? I'll go with you, and here's the reason why I'd go with you because you just do some wild shit. Just
Oh,
do
dude.
some wild shit. Like
Riding
yesterday,
rhinos.
Were you stealing some meerkats, doggy dog?
I was just talking to Ben yesterday, and all of a sudden, like, I could hear the noise of a car. I'm like, Ben, where are you now? He's like, oh, I'm in the car going to the pool to have a swim. I'm like, all right, fair enough. That's what we're doing now. Like, so yeah, maybe
Yeah.
actually Ben. Yeah, Ben's my pick. I'll go with you,
Nice,
Ben.
buddy. We'll have a great time. And what about you, buddy? Who are you going to Palm Springs with?
That's easy for me. Philip J. Woodward, I think,
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
good
best
pick.
choice. He would keep me entertained, and we'd have a lot to bond over and watch.
Is it because
movies
he's so
together,
cuddly?
And,
Yeah.
and he's also very cuddly, yeah. So I think that's a great choice. And I was just talking to him today, and Erica was there, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I made the right choice. Yeah.
Was it
And
when
if
he
this-
showed us his puppy dog?
Exactly.
He's gonna have so much time too, because there's not a lot of lawns
He was
in
in
Palm
bed.
Springs, you know?
He was in
was.
bed almost naked, showing us his puppy dog. And that's when I said I made the right choice.
It was.
I don't
True
know what he
story.
calls it, dude. His puppy dog. Like, I don't want to know. Okay?
No, you don't wanna- let's not
No,
go-
no. You can't just put half naked in bed and like say the thing that
His
you want to
puppy
say.
dog.
Ben.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you can't. You can't.
I'm
You
not
can't
doing
put the
that
two
to
together.
Phil.
Phil just jumps into the voice chat. Oh, do you mean my cock? Like-
Yeah, he would double down.
There it is.
He always does. It's the best. I love it.
Eric, who are you taking to Palm Springs?
This is such a rough question because, like, we have such a great group of friends, and I want to take all of you guys. I just want to hang out with everybody.
You stole my answer.
Shut up. We can have the same
Erica, are you in
answer.
the loop then in that case, or you just take a different person each time?
See, I think that might be the best one because I don't think I could pick just one person because like I was trying to think about this because so like and I was right when we were talking earlier. He's like, I definitely take Phil. I'm like, but I want to take Phil. I'm like, but I also want to take Al. But I want to take Ben. But I want to take Jesse. But I want to take Kumail. I'm like, but I want to take Robin. And I want to. I'm like, I want to take all of my friends and just hang out with everybody and like just be in that pool on big pizza floaties and hang out and just have a good time. So I just want to take everybody. So Ben, I'm stealing
You
your
can
answer.
though. There's
Tough.
no limitations here. You can
There's
take
none.
who
We're
you would
taking
like to
everybody.
take. You can take everyone.
We're taking everybody.
Oh, the
I'm
wording
taking
got
same
me.
answer.
Oh,
Taking
you got
everybody.
me.
Haha.
At a certain point, if you have the right people and enough of them, don't judge me, but I wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
exactly.
Let's just stay in that time loop, you know?
Yeah. I don't blame Niles, to be honest.
Right.
No. All right. Now, before we get into our final thoughts on the episode, we asked you, amazing people, what you thought of the movie. So we've got some reviews here, some nice short Twitter reviews. We're just going to go through. We've got one, Hoodie Peaks. You can find Hoodie at the Penny Marbles on Twitter.
Or on the next OU reviews movies or whatever we're
Oh,
calling
yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Or whatever we're calling it.
Well, we might be reviewing a movie called Tag, which is very exciting. Hoodie says here, it's perfect. Send tweet. That's it.
That's the tweet. Nice.
It was
We've
nice.
got one Matt Ferguson, Fergie21 on Twitter. Matt just writes, it was pretty good, which is the most Matt-ass review of a movie I've ever
But do you think he intended to do it in the Philip J. Woodward voice?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Ooh.
Pretty good. Yeah.
At
I
that
think
point, it's
so.
perfect, he means.
Exactly.
Fair.
We've got one Jose Ruckus from Aces Wild. You can follow Jose at
And
Aces
HBO
Wild Pod.
Max.
And yes, the newly launched, or possibly not newly launched, depending on when this comes out, HBO Max. Jose writes, pretty damn close to a perfect movie. Script is super tight. All the performances are excellent. Shot simply, but not boring. And uses a small budget well. Manages to dive deep in on the themes and expands on the familiar concepts. Probably the best movie I saw in 2020. So, great review. Thanks for writing it.
I agree with the tightness of the movie. I think Camille, you mentioned it too. It's just so good and so tight, and there's no filler whatsoever, in my opinion. I love that.
Everything in that film is there for a reason. It's not just like
Exactly.
something. There's no like throwaway stuff there. It's just there for a reason.
Yep.
And it doesn't hold your hand. Like I say, it doesn't try and explain everything to you. Like, you know what you need to know, and then that's it. Like, they don't give you any more, which I appreciate, instead of trying to explain for
Yeah.
half an hour, like, everything about it. So, no, absolutely, I agree with that review, absolutely, 100%. We have James Hull, and you can follow James at Kaiju _James on Twitter. Just simply says, loved it. So, probably in the same boat as us. We love this movie. It's great. We've got Eric Zimmerline, EZ Emma Line on Twitter. Just says, I enjoyed the movie. Could at times be predictable, but overall good stuff. So great review there.
It's funny because I didn't find that. I was always on my toes, wondering what's going to happen
Yeah.
next.
Same
Why-
here.
I think it might be because you went in
Yeah.
blind. Maybe if you knew a little bit about the movie, it might be easier to predict certain
Yeah.
things that might happen if you've got longer to think about it. But yeah, I kind of think the same. Yeah.
I think that would have taken away a lot from the movie, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
you go in thinking time loop, Groundhog Day, whatever, maybe there's the extra twist of extra people in the loop, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish I went in just thinking it was a Lonely Island movie or just a regular kind of movie, like a rom-com or something like you guys did, because, yeah, that would have got me, that twist. That would have been
I
fun.
literally didn't know anything. You literally said to me,
Ooh.
"Watch the movie." I'm like, "All right, I'll watch the movie," and that
Like,
was it.
what is this glowing cave? Why did he just get shot by a bow?
I thought, was it Aladdin?
It comes out of,
Like,
it
this
comes
is
out
the
of
Cave of
nowhere,
Wonders.
dude.
Cave of Wonders.
It's like, what is going on?
Out of nowhere, he just gets that arrow to the shoulder.
Yeah. I was like, are we gonna do zombies now? Is this what was happening?
But it's the
Like,
fact
what's
he
going
knew
on?
who it was as well. It was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you, Roy."
Yeah, exactly.
It might be one of the best moments, eh? Like, especially if you don't know that going in. You're like, what is going on?
So
Why is there a glowing cave?
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's great. And the last review comes from Ghost Dog 420, who just says, good. So you
Good.
must have enjoyed the movie.
Good.
And that's
Ben,
the
can I do
underscore
some-
Ghost Dog 420. Yeah,
Can I
buddy.
do some officially unofficial reviews?
Yeah, but you owe us another $1, so that's...
That's fine. So I tweeted out that I was watching Palm Springs tomorrow,
Yeah.
which is now, well, I guess yesterday, but I watched it today. And I said, I was like, oh, it's nice that 90-minute movies still exist. And I got some reply to that. So I'll start with JT at Josh Lemarliquand,
We know him.
who says, what a
JT.
wonderful, he says, what a wonderful movie. I went in completely blind and loved it. So he did it right. We've got Ben at Please Be Excited, who just says, right, with an exclamation mark. You got Chaz underscore JS, another movie aficionado. He says, I love that film. You got Mike Glynn at Glinister, who's also another movie aficionado. Says it's excellent. We've got It's Me, John B, who says good movie. I was like, it's not April Fool's that you're saying that, is it? He's like, no, it is genuinely a good movie. I'm like, fantastic. Hoodie again says it's on my perfect list of films. This is in my list of perfect films. Pretty cool. And then we've got
Nice.
finally Mario Not Bros, friend of Ben's. Palm Springs is such a delightful movie. So yeah, amazing.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
$4 I'm at. $4.
And thank you all for writing in. That was great.
Ben, just to go back earlier to when we were talking about when we know, like, we went in blind. I knew there was something off when I heard a very obscure track in the very beginning of the movie when Niles jumps into the pool. There's they play August 10, which from Krung Bin, which is a very obscure instrumental band that like takes influences from Afghan music. It's like I legit just was so shocked when I heard that song. I was like, wait, is that what I think it is? And I was like, okay, well, this just means this is going to be a different kind of movie. That was my first clue, at least.
Were you so
Before
shocked when the guy was just like handing him like a drink? He's like, "Oh, shukran." It's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay."
that was very weird, too.
Yeah. There's definitely hints of it too with that dance. Like you said earlier, I think it
Yeah.
came out right with that dance scene where you're like, yeah, there's something a little bit off, something that's not quite right here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When he's like predicting the dance moves and then he puts that
Yeah.
chair out for that guy to fall on, and you're like, okay.
Okay, can we talk about that one bit as well where like he wakes up one morning and they start having an argument, like him and his girlfriend, and he just copies everything
Yep.
she's
Yeah.
saying at the same
So
time.
Yes.
He's like
So
flipping
good.
out.
That was amazing. I love that.
No one breaks up with me. I break up with me. Yeah. It's great. Love it.
It's so good. Well, let's get into it. Our final thoughts on the movie. Before we sign off, I want to know what you thought of the movie overall and what your score is out of 10. I'm going to kick it over to Al. Al, what did you think of the movie overall? What are you giving it, buddy?
I give this one a 9. Let's go with a 9.
Nice.
Yeah. It has a lot of elements that I like. I'm a huge Lonely Island fan, despite what I said about not expecting much going into this. But it puts comedic Lonely Island moments in something that's much larger, and I like that. I'm a huge fan of the cast, including the lovely actress who plays Sarah. It's the story, the cinematography, even like everything about this movie is unbelievably like blew me away, to be honest. There's not much to say other than what I've already said, to be honest. So I don't know. I loved it.
Perfect. That's great. And Erica, final thoughts and review.
I am giving it a 9 as well. I love this movie, and I definitely will probably watch it again. And I think what Al said is right. I went into this movie expecting something from Lonely Island, and while it had its funny moments, it definitely wasn't your typical Lonely Island. Like when I am at work and I listen to them there, it's because I need cheering up and I need to laugh and I need that pick me up at work and goofiness, and I'm on a boat and not I'm on a pizza blow up thing in a pool, but I love this movie and it was great, and it just put a nice twist onto, like I said, that Groundhog's Day thing, and yeah, it was great. I'm definitely glad that we decided to put this one on the list. So
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
yeah, great
yeah.
recommendation.
Honestly.
Ben. You did good.
No,
I
Good
wouldn't have
job.
watched this otherwise, believe
Me
me.
neither. Yep, I never would have.
And I do hope that's the next Lonely Island song. I'm on a pizza thing in the pool. That'd be awesome.
Perfect.
Love it. And Kumo,
I
what
like
did you
how
think,
Erica
buddy?
was like, it's 9 out of 10. There's not enough nautical theme Pashmina Afghans in this. No, I'll give it a 10. And again, Ben, no, like the guy said, no, thank you so much for telling me about this. Well, telling me to watch this movie and having me on. Secondly,
Oh, I'm just
'Cause
excited
it
that you
was-
watched
it was
It's
such
so
a-
cool.
it was such an experience. And honestly, like, I used to watch a lot of like rom-coms back in the day. Like, you wouldn't expect it, but I did. And like watching a movie like this and not expecting it, amazing. Honestly, like with Vitz, like whenever I'm watching a movie that he's watching, I'll give him the Nick Scarpino 3-finger scale. So you got the finger scale. Good, okay, bad. Firmly top finger. Firmly top finger.
Nice.
Nice.
Love it, buddy. Cool. Yeah, exactly in the same boat. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was something unique and different. And I think they played with the themes really well. Feel like it's deep when it needs to be deep, and it's hilarious and funny when it needs to be funny. And they find a really good mix in between there. I've actually probably seen it maybe 4 times now. I love it that much. So I'm actually going to give it 9.5 for me
Ooh.
there. So absolutely loved it. So yes.
Camille, I don't
now-
think Camille gave us the rating.
Sorry, it
Give
was
us
10.
the,
Ten.
the
Perfect
finger
10.
scale.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
sweet.
It was a perfect 10, yeah. I'm like, when it comes to movies and stuff, I haven't got the most critical opinion on stuff, but like, there's nothing I can say where I was like,
Oh, you're on the Robert
They
Park
could've-
podcast if you want to do that, you know?
yeah, I don't think there's anything that I would have said like, oh, they could have done something better here. And the other thing is as well with like movies like this, there's sometimes where you can start to feel a bit uncomfortable, but at no point during this film did I feel like uncomfortable with what was happening / what was being said.
Yeah.
And like I said, the movie's got like a powerful message to me personally. The kind of thing I took out of it is like, stop going through the motions of your day-to-day life, take a step back, start to reflect on things, and you might see something bigger. Like if you take a step back, you'll see like the bigger picture. So yeah, that was a nice
Appreciate what
reminder
you've
to
got,
sort of have.
yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say that with 3 9s and a 10, the OU pod has given this a 9.25. Yeah, so quite. Do you have
And you
do you
said,
have like
you
a
said
league
OU
of
Pod,
movies?
you owe us another $1.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Now we
Do you
bought-
guys
before we
like have
sign
like a
off-
league of movies, like where you like keep track of like all the movies you've like reviewed?
We should
that seems like
absolutely
a-
do that.
We
It seems like a lot
should.
of work, you know?
Mm.
As Niles would say, you know?
Can we just pretend like this is right at the top now?
It is.
Like,
This would
it
definitely be at
is.
the top. This is number
Oh,
one.
nice.
I guarantee
Yes.
it. It's definitely higher than the other two. We've only done Die Hard and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so I can
I'll put it on
promise
par
you
with
that
Die
this
Hard.
one is up top. So
I will not. Not yet. We'll see. Eternal Sunshine's a great movie,
it is.
and Ben thinks Die Hard is better than this. So
No, I put them on the same. I put them on the same category there. Die Hard and this.
we'll
Just
have to come back to
amazing,
this.
incredible movies, you know.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. That's what
Yeah.
I'd say.
There you
Now,
go.
before we
And
sign
on
off, we
that
have to
note-
go for a fun segment. MVP.
Fuck you guys, I'm out.
You're not escaping this. You're not escaping this, Kumar.
Wait, hang on a minute. It's not the end of the episode?
We've
No,
got another,
almost.
we've got another
Shit.
segment.
Almost.
You want- I can see why you might want to escape this segment, though, but we need to
That's
go through
fair.
and talk about
Yeah.
our MVP.
Yeah.
Erica, who was your MVP of Palm Springs?
Sarah. Sarah's my MVP, obviously. She's awesome. She's amazing. I love her. And, for as much as I can understand Niles wanting to just be like, yeah, I just want to stay here with you forever and do the time loop thing forever. I get that. I totally get that. I can understand wanting to be comfortable in the place you are in and just wanting to do that. But I get she doesn't want to do that. She's realized that she is more than, that sad girl, fuck up person, and she wants to get out. And she wants to get out with him, and let's go. And she does. And she's my
Yes.
MVP.
Nice.
To be
Yeah.
fair though, for Niles, like after like what was it, like 40 years, he finally found something that he loved, and like he's
That's
just for him, it is just in
Yeah.
that one moment he's finally found that.
Yeah.
Like you can
And
kind of
he
understand
wants to
why he
hold
doesn't
on.
want to. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose it straight away. Like he's
Totally
just
can
found
see
the
that.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely can
Nice.
understand that too. Yep. That's
That's a
why I
great
think that's
choice.
why I love this movie, is because I can totally see it from both sides. Like you're right.
Mm.
Like after 40 years, he's finally found something that he wants to, be, someone he wants to be with, and not like, have a reason to get up and get out of bed and smile for every day and everything like that. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's great. I love it. But yeah, she's still my MVP. Absolutely.
Would at some point you consider bringing everyone into the cave, and then there's kind of no time loop?
At that point, everyone
Everybody
starts killing each other every day. It's
in
like
the
Deathloop
Yeah.
in Bethesda. Like
Yeah, you're
There
probably
you
right.
go.
You're probably right. Nice, love it. And Kumail, what about you, buddy? Who's your MVP?
shit, it's so hard to pick. It's so hard to pick. But I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna break the mold and I'll say Roy, just because of like the message I
choice
got from
also.
Roy in the end. Like,
That's a
yeah.
good point,
It's a
actually.
good
Yeah.
choice.
So yeah, I'll just go for Roy. But yeah, it's hard to pick between because all of them are so good. Like, they're so good. But yeah,
Yeah.
Roy.
Nice. I'm going to go with Sarah too, Erica. I think such a strong character, but she's the one that got them out of the loop, and yeah, she goes through a lot through that movie. So I'm going to lock in Sarah for my pick, and let's go over to Al. Who's your MVP, buddy?
I hate when I agree with you, Ben.
I
But
love
it's
it. We're
Sarah.
friends. We can be friends. You know, it's got to be Sarah, right?
Absolutely. It's not Niles. I can see Roy, but
I can see Roy too. Yeah. It's definitely
I can
Roy.
see a small case for Niles, but yeah.
I
no,
can
it's-
give you a case for Niles. Who the fuck do you think got her into that cave in the first place? You wouldn't have a film without Niles. Fuck you guys.
But just
Oh,
Roy
God,
coming
here we
around every
go.
few weeks to kill Niles. That'd still be a great movie.
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Love it, but
But yeah,
it's
Sarah
it's
was
a great
like the
pick.
driving force the entire time to be like, I need to get out of this place. Like, she was never comfortable in there.
Mm.
So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, that has been the Palm Springs review. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Before we go, Erica, do you want to tell the amazing people all about our Patreon?
Hey, we have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/unofficialpod. You can also find that link at theoupod.com, where all of our links are. There's a couple tiers on there if you want to go check it out, get some shout outs and early access and all of that cool stuff. Find out all of the cool things we're doing first there and all that good stuff. So if you want to check it out, that would be awesome. If not, no worries. If you just want to hit the little bell subscribe thing on YouTube and all the podcast places, that is way awesome and we super appreciate it.
Yay! And it immediately makes my day.
It does. It makes Ben, so he tells me every time we have a new subscriber, it's like he
'Cause
knows.
It makes me so happy.
Makes him so happy.
It's like when an angel gets its wings, you know? I just, yeah. And Al, where can people find you, buddy?
Al Tribesman on everything, and yeah, theoupod.com.
Hell yeah, buddy. And Erica, where can people find you?
You can find me here at theoupod.com and Optimistic Underdog and at Ambelina on Twitter making stupid jokes. That's where I'm at.
Yay. I love your stupid jokes. They're amazing.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
And you can find me at twitch.tv/pleasebeexcited. You can find me at twitter.com/pleasebeexcited. You can find me at pleasebeexcited on Instagram, just chucking some underscores in there. If you want some extra content, you can also find me at Simply Sassy Vids, where we do awesome content. And before you go, I just want to say a huge thank you to our amazing guest here, Kumail, for coming on the show today. And Kumail, I would absolutely love to know what you're doing and where people can find you, buddy.
Oh, you can find me on this episode of the Redacted because I ain't paying you another $1.
We got our money. It's okay.
He's so
check
smart.
out Amit's episode where he talked about New Girl
He's
on the
great.
Redacted podcast. You can find me up Puggy Ramble, Kumail H everywhere, Simply Sassy Vids, all the good stuff. But usually just hang around with some very cool people. And thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for telling me to watch this movie because it's been a
Thank you for
worthwhile
coming
venture,
on.
and I feel like I've learned something today, which is always a good time. So no, thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Hell yeah. Woohoo. Well, on that note, it's been a great episode. We'll see you next time. And until next time, keep it unofficial.
Fuck you guys.